everybody, and welcome to episode 50 of All About African Violets. All About African Violets is musically sponsored by Ted Yoder. You can hear and purchase his awesome music on his website at tedyoder.com. It's also available from iTunes. Hi everybody, come on into my sunroom. There's no sun because it's really quite late on Saturday night. I had another very busy week here, and it just seems like every week is busy. I mean, I know everybody else's weeks are busy too. I'm not the only busy person, but I'm so excited and so glad that so many of you really enjoyed seeing the footage last week of the national show. I know that there was a lot of ambient noise. That's unavoidable when you're in the showroom. I did my best to I wanted to shoot it right when everyone was there, maybe so that you would capture some of the excitement that we all feel when we head in there. I did flip. BJ walking with me down the hall was supposed to be before we got to the show. I'm sorry about that. I got it screwed up. But I think you got the picture, so to speak, and I'm really glad you guys enjoyed it. And I do have more footage of it to share with you in the weeks to come. But this week, I really want to talk about what happens when you come home from National. So I have, they're really almost outtakes, some of them, of me trying to get ready to come home from National. You get to meet my friend Carolee Carter, who lives in Florida. She's wonderful, and we've been friends a long time. And you'll get to see the plants there that I bought and came home with, and how I got them ready to bring them home. Because I think that's important for you to know, that what happens when it's all over and you're coming home. So we're a little punchy by this time, but take a look. Okay, you guys. I'm busted.
What?
I'm talking to the podcast, Carolee. Come on over.
Oh!
It's my roommate, Carolee Carter, you guys, and we're here looking at my plants.
She was only going to buy 2 or 3.
Yeah, I wasn't going to hardly buy any, but here's what I got. And truthfully, it could be a lot worse than it looks. But I picked up a few Optimaras and a few trailers and some species plants and some vintage plants and a few more trailers and a couple of streptocarpuses.
Yeah, what about all these dead blossoms? You haven't cleaned those off yet.
No. That's the whole point of this. I wanted everyone to see these, and then I've got my trusty stuff and my tools, and there's a leaf of Rob sarsaparilla. That's all I'm taking home on that one, you guys. Anyway, here we go. I'll show you what it looks like in just a little while. Okay, I'm back. I know this doesn't look too much different yet, but this is the first step, and I have disbudded everything. In fact, if you look down there in the trash, there they are. So I'll show you the next step in just a moment. Okay, you guys, oh, I said it again. I don't know how many times I can say you guys. Don't roll it over the dirt. Oh, all right.
I can't see that. Why don't you put it in the light?
It is. They can see it just.
It's a mess.
All right, everyone. Here is the results of all my taking everything apart. All the plants that you saw up here, now down here, shortly to be in here. Thanks to Kent Stark, everything's in the box. I kept trying to film all the little Ziploc bags on the floor, and Carolee kept asking me questions, and then Joyce kept asking me questions or saying, no, do it this way, do it that way. It was hilarious. I mean, there in the room, it was very hilarious. I hope some of that hilarity transferred to you just now. Well, let's move on to tips and treasures, because I do have a few questions to answer. I'll answer them right now. Let me get my glasses on. Ms. Bloom left a comment on the website and said, if you could create your own perfect violet, what would it be? Quilted, heartleaf, double blossom, orange flower? And I thought about this and I thought, well, right away, it would be a standard, and it would probably be a variegated standard, but it would be variegated on really dark green foliage, kind of like the foliage that is on Smooch Me or Fresh Air. Both of those are Kent Stork plants with that deep, deep green foliage with kind of the serrated edges and pointed. I love that. And the blossom, and it was very interesting to me that immediately when I started thinking about this, I immediately thought about the foliage. Because as you guys know, I'm not always, I'm rarely seduced by a pretty blossom, but I'm always, the foliage is really important to me. But it would probably be a single semi-double probably. And the color, you know what? It never even occurred to me what color it might be, but it would likely have a Geneva edge. That's that white edge. I love that in a blossom. Truthfully, it could be pretty much any color. I love them all. So I thought that was a really great question, and of course, it would have perfect symmetry. It would just grow itself. I wouldn't have to play with it, fuss with it. It would just grow itself, and the symmetry would be awesome. So, great question, Ms. Bloom. Thank you for asking it. Now, Robin asked, she asked a follow-up question. We talked right before National, we talked about genetic ability to bloom true, and Dr. Jeff Smith weighed in on that for us. And then Robin followed up, and she says, for the Q&A episode, I was interested to hear Dr. Smith's comment about a violet losing its genetic ability to bloom true as it ages. Is that something remedied by renewing the plant from a leaf start? I suppose a violet can sport over time from continued leaf restarts, compounding small genetic mutations each time. Is this what Dr. Smith referred to? So I asked him. So Jeff Smith says, not all violets sport or change over time. Many of them will stay pretty consistent. Actually, restarting a plant over and over again from leaf cuttings may accelerate the number of changes. Each new plantlet starts from a single cell. That cell may have sported. If you keep restarting over and over again, the odds are that you will get a sport eventually. It's like rolling a die. If you do it enough times, you'll hit a 6. The best way to keep an older plant true is to restart the crown as it grows out. The original meristem, that's that middle stem, that's, the crown grows out of that stem, everything happens from there. The original meristem is less likely to change over time and should stay stable. He says, I hope this makes sense. I think it makes good sense. I hope, Robin, that clarifies that for you a little bit more. And then Mandy on Facebook, hi Mandy. Mandy said, regarding leaf support rings, and this question has come around again, this is interesting. She says, is it like muscles where if you don't use your muscles, they get weak? Will the stalks get weak since they don't need to support themselves because the rings are doing it? Well, I have used leaf support rings in the past. I don't use them right now really at all. And I pretty much always thought they were mostly for transport, but there's been a lot of conversation about leaf supports on Facebook and in other places as well, and I thought, I'm just going to check with Joyce and see what Joyce says. So Joyce said, I don't think that leaf supports weaken or strengthen the leaves, but it might hide a lack of sturdiness. She says, we no longer use them. The plants definitely look better with them, and that might be great if the violets are only to be enjoyed at home. We found that weak plants dropped their leaves once the ring was removed. Say that 3 times, ring was removed. And strong plants didn't need them. It just seems better to select show plants that were inherently strong. I probably wouldn't use them for transport since the petioles could bounce on the hard surface and be bruised. Shredded paper would be a better support. And so those were my questions. And there was one other question that no one actually asked, but I have a feeling that some of you might be wondering about. And that question is, why didn't I take the big box violet to show? So right before I left, I filmed this little snippet for you to kind of explain that. So take a look. Hi everybody. I was talking with Joyce, and she wanted me to share with you, or she suggested that I share with you the real reasons why I'm not taking the big box violet to show. And there are a number of them. First and foremost is that although this is a really beautiful plant, I do not know what variety it really is. So because I don't know, I cannot take it to show. But there are other reasons why this plant would not do well at show. And first here, you remember we're in a self-watering pot. You can't take a self-watering pot to show. And even though it has a phenomenal head of bloom, the symmetry on this plant is poor. So if you look at this, here's a big gap. And if I was judging this plant, I just hit the thing there. This is about a 3-point gap, and so is this, and this is 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a gap over here. 9, another gap here, which is about a 3-point gap, and that's already 12 points off of this plant just in that area, which already makes this a red. It's not a blue ribbon plant already. And I don't know if it's clear on the camera, but of course by now many of these blossoms are faded. They're past their prime. They still look okay, but it's clear when you see it in person that they're not, that there would be points taken off there as well. So I just kind of wanted to go through that because I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, it's so beautiful. Why don't you take it to show? But that's why. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll be back. Makes sense? A little bit about judging, about how, we would need to look at that if it was in the right kind of pot, if it went to show. Even with the fabulous head of bloom that it has, I could find 10 points, more than, to knock it down, I could find more than 10. And it would have only been a red ribbon. But in addition, obviously, because not knowing what it is really the main reason why you can't take it. But I know it's so beautiful. And wait till you see the look on the stands. We're headed there now because it's still blooming. Some of the blooms are starting to fade, but holy smokes, they are long lasting. Wait till you see them. Let's take a look at the stands because things are going to look a little bit different. You are going to see the fruits of my labors today. All I did all day today was pot plants. Now, before we look, I will tell you that Monday, when I got home on Sunday, I got everything out. My kitchen is still, actually the kitchen and the guest room are still a disaster. But I got all the leaves put down right away. I only lost one leaf that just didn't make it. It was a highly variegated leaf. I was sorry to lose it, but I brought plenty of others home, as you can see shortly. And as you saw already of how I got them home, all in those Ziploc bags. Well, thank goodness for Ziploc bags because things can, the plants themselves, when I took them out of their pots and put them in the Ziploc bags, and I got as much dirt off them as I could and then put them in there. Well, the Ziploc bag is like that mini greenhouse that we've talked about long ago now. And so they rested in those bags all week until today, till Saturday, well, till yesterday, Saturday, which, and so I spent my whole Saturday, I took little knitting breaks here and there, but I spent almost the whole day potting up stuff and doing some repotting because Kurt Jablonski kind of slugged me in the arm at National and said, Annie, you really need to repot. I said, I know. This is one of the reasons I think I love these plants, and we all love them. And they are so much more forgiving than anyone would ever realize that didn't grow them. So these guys hung out in Ziploc bags all week, and I got them all potted today. And so I waited to shoot till tonight so that I could show you the fruits of my labors. So let's go take a look at what's on the stands. Hi everybody, this is kind of a short stop look at what's on the stands. It's Monday night, the day after I got home from National, and here you can see the two plants that I actually brought home with me, and I have leaves of two of the others, and I have been working here. Here is my carry box filled with plantlets that I took out of their pods to bring them home, and here are leaves that I'm working on, and a couple of little plantlets fell out at the same time. I'm trying to do all the leaves first, and I've got a good start here, so that's going well. Sorry, dirty, it's my kitchen, but this is the next set of 4, and I'm going to keep going. Now, I was given a challenge by my friend Carolee Carter. And this is a leaf of Ma's Winter Moon, and which she says is a wonderful plant. And she gave it to me. It broke off, but it has no stem. So I'm going to cut a stem and show you how you do that. And then she said it's a challenge, and so I've had to do that with one other leaf, but the leaf looks really iffy. It was a leaf of Tommy Lou. But we'll try it with this one, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a moment. Okay, so what happens when you get a leaf without a stem? Well, it's going to be a little tough for me to show you as I cut it, but what I'm going to, because I don't have my tripod, it's still packed. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, I'm trying to use my little bitty teeny weeny tripod. It's a little Gorilla one. And I am, what do? You get a leaf and there's no stem. Well, you can cut a little stem right into here, and you follow the midrib, and you just use your blade and cut these pieces out just like this. In effect, creating a little stem. Now I've already washed this, and I'm actually might have to take this up a little bit further. I think I will. There we go. There. Okay. Now, I'm just going to make a fresh cut. I want to cut all that off. And then I'm just going to slice the very tip of the leaf. And we will see. Okay? All right, I'll be back in a moment. It's kind of funny to see this stand like this, isn't it? National is over. It's time to take a look at what's on the stands. And you can see that things look very different. Guys, here's Blueberry Sprite, and you can tell that I actually got some repotting done today. I took a lot of leaves off of it. It's actually a little high still in the pot, but I took a lot of leaves off and I put one down, and I'm just going to grow it, and we're going to see how it does. This is Chiffon Masquerade, and I repotted it, and Kurt Jablonski, gave me an earful at National and said, Annie, you really need to repot. And I was like, yep, I really do. So Kurt, I got some repotting done today. Not a lot. Guys, this is Dancing Trails, been down in the basement. And, it hasn't looked too great, but I brought it upstairs, took a few leaves off. That one needs to go too. And I'm going to let it rest up here and see if it likes maybe to be a little warmer than in the basement. So right now, and I did get repotting done today. In fact, that's all I did today, as you've probably already heard. But I still have more to do. But everything that came home with me from National has been potted up. But here's my middle shelf, and you will notice that some things look a little different. That is because while I was away, a couple of things bloomed. And I just want to get over here so you can kind of see that Reflections of Spring looks like it's going to be a really heavy bloomer. I'm kind of excited about that. And here's Gala Pink. Also, beautiful, big pink blossom. This baby did not get repotted today. It's on the list for tomorrow, but it's close. And look how good my powwow is looking. That's on the list for tomorrow to be repotted. And this is Smooch Me, and this is Fresh Air. You will notice that Jean-Pierre Croteau is no longer here. I'm sorry to tell you that it did not bloom true. The Fantasy did not bloom. When it bloomed solid. So you know me. And also, you'll notice Hot Tamales, not here. When it bloomed lavender instead of red. So, things looking a little different here. House of Amani is on the list for tomorrow, as are some of these guys as well. Need to be repotted. So let's go take a look now down in the basement. Well, alrighty then. Things are looking a little different here. I shifted a few things around. A couple things have moved in the house in different locations. These are all the plants that I brought home. Plantlets from National, and one little acacia that was a gift to me. And they are in here. They don't really need to be in here, but I'm going to leave them in here. There we go. These are open. I just wanted them to have a little bit of a transition because they have been in Ziploc bags all week long. And then here, I've got a whole lot of leaves in here, and this is my challenge leaf from Carol Lee, my friend Carol Lee. And over here, more stuff. I had to use two domes. I didn't have enough. Now, down here used to be the plants from Illinois, from the Illinois show. Well, they have been in isolation long enough. So these are the larger plants that also were in Ziploc bags all week, and a few streps, which are looking a little raggedy, but I think by the morning they're going to look a little better. I had to bend them to keep them in the bags on the way home, as you can see, to get them in there so they look a little ragged. And here is Pixie Blue. It gets to be in isolation with these guys because these are all brand new to the collection, and it's coming back into the collection. So everybody's going to hang out here in the basement, and I am going to get a fan. I mean, I have a fan, but I didn't want to, it's not the right kind of fan. So I'm going to go fan shopping and see if I can't get one that will just keep the air circulating down here a little bit better. Let's go and take a look at the Streptocarpus shelf. Why, yes, I did get everything on this shelf repotted. Blue Mars got repotted back in April, but these guys all kind of rested over here on their own, and everyone was fine. This is Heartland's White Gold. This is Dale's Polar Berry. This is still Salmon Sunset, and this is still Midnight Flame. So everybody's been repotted. This won't be too interesting for a while, but I think it will be interesting eventually. And you guys will see it. And I have more straps. I need one more light. This shelf, I don't have a light. Oh, look, all the trash in my basement. But there's no light on this next shelf. I use those fixtures in other locations, so I need to get a couple more, I think. All right, let's go take a look upstairs. Here we are on the top shelf up in the sunroom, and you can tell that it's very dark out. It is Saturday night, and it is late. I have split my champagne pink. There were 2 plants in there, and they're potted. I got them repotted, and a couple of things are waiting down in the basement to be repotted, and we've got some things blooming here, trying to bloom, so we'll see how that goes. And here's the Gesneriad shelf for now. My Escananthus obconicus, I need some help with this. If anyone grows Escananthus, please post on the website and give me some tips, okay? Here's Firebird, Columnia Firebird, and here is Columnia Apollo, and you see that they are in larger pots, and they have all their little pieces that I cut and rooted are there. I may cut some more. We'll see how it goes. And now we have a 3rd shelf here in the sunroom. These are the plants that went to Illinois and came home. This is Western Moon. That is Rob's Wagga Wagga. This is Roulette, which had a lot of suckers on it. It was crazy. This is Optimara Ontario. I'm not liking how the center looks on it. It's looking a little cranky, and I think maybe it didn't like the cold downstairs. But this is Optimara Michigan, and it's looking very, very beautiful. So that's what's happening here. Let's go see if we can get a look at the big box violet. It's kind of dark now, so I don't know how it will look, but we'll try. It's the big box violet. Guys, it's still gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, obviously these flowers here are fading, but it's still looking pretty good. Okay, that's the look at what's on the stands this week. I'll be right back. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted just seeing it all again. I did so much work, but I still have more work to do tomorrow because there are plants that are here. I got a few of them done today along with some others, but there are some more that still need to be repotted. So don't worry, Kurt, I'm on it. I'm hoping to do it on Sunday. That's my plan anyway. Well, it's time to get the bail money ready. And I have something to share with you today that is kind of bizarre. It's not about a show. It's about Blip TV. I need to tell you that in the coming week and a half or so, I am having to shift the server. This is a little bit technical, but it's important that you guys know about it because Blip TV, which is where all the episodes are hosted on their server, and then I link to them on the website. They have sent me a warning notice that I no longer am in compliance with what they call their terms of service, and I guess it's because I don't have an episodic storyline. It's not like I'm telling you, it's not like a serial, like a TV series, which is, I guess, what they are trying to move to. So I don't know what's going to happen to other podcasts that may be hosted there. I tried to appeal because actually, I thought what they sent me, I thought what I received was a spam thing saying I had to move my podcast. So I did email Blip, but they have never responded. So I can only assume that it is for real. And within the next week and a half, the podcast will no longer be available on Blip. I know that already. I went out to check. If you were to search for the podcast on Blip, it would not come up any longer. So they gave me a 2-week grace period to move all of the episodes to a new server. I have a new server. Everything will remain hosted on WordPress, which is where the website is hosted through. So and iTunes should still work exactly the same, so don't worry about that. The feed will have to be redirected. Again, this is a little bit technical, but one of the things that I have to do, and that I'm already in the process of doing, is I have to re-upload all 50 episodes of the podcast to the new server so that they will remain available. I know that there are some of you who have just found the podcast and you have wanted to watch from the beginning and you're trying to work your way through. You will still be able to do that, but you might not be able to do it right away. Again, I'm uploading as quickly as I can, but it takes almost an hour an episode to upload. And so I probably have, as of today, I think I have 12 episodes uploaded, and I did the very first 2, and then I'm working my way backward for people who are, may have just be maybe a couple of episodes behind. They should still be able to get them pretty easily. Once everything has been re-uploaded to the new server, I then have to go back to the website and redo all the links on every episode so that they now point to the new server. It's crazy. And I'm like, Blip, why are you doing this? But they have a new vision, I guess, of what they want, and apparently I don't fit in their vision. That's okay. They got to do what they got to do, and we're still moving forward. I'm all about keeping moving forward. So I used some of the bail money to get on the new server. So please be patient with me. I will be re-uploading as quickly as I can. If you go to the index page and you don't see a link anymore for a certain episode, all that means is that I had to remove all of the Blip links so that I can create the new links, and as soon as I get episodes uploaded, I will be relinking them for you, okay? And I will go as quickly as I can. So I thank you in advance for your patience. And I'm sorry, that took a really long explanation to explain it, but I guess the short version is Blip is booting me out. So I'm finding a new home for the podcast. I already found it. Everything will be fine. There's just be a little technical wrangling backstage, so to speak. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me this week. I wanted to tell you and remind you, I guess, or tell you again, that I am going to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. That'll be in 2 weeks, episode 52. And there will be a drawing for some cool things. I mentioned the beautiful shelves to you from Beautiful Views, and there will be a set of those in the drawing. And again, I have to tell you that their business model is that they can only ship in the United States. So those will only be able to go to someone here in the US. But I will have some of the carabiners that I gave away at National, and they can be sent internationally. There will be some books, and those will be able to also be sent internationally should an international person win the drawing on those. And there will also be a couple of 1-year memberships to the AVSA. So, which is kind of exciting. If you're not already a member, you'll start and you'll be like, yes, because National is really, once you go to National, you want to go every year. And it's really, I call it the magic of National, because it really is magic. So many friends, so many people to meet that become friends, so many fabulous, wonderful plants. You're going to want to go to Nashville. Start planning now. Get the bail money ready, okay? All right, it is time to keep moving forward. Thank you again so much for joining me this week. I hope your days are filled with all the things you love. Good growing. I'll see you next time.